Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So this video today I'm going to be talking about return policies, exchanges, and a little bit about chargebacks. I actually got this question from one of my subscribers, Diane. You asked me to make a video about how to make a return policy and exchange policy and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make this video and give you some insight on how I did my return policy when I had my online store up and running. So I hope that these tips and things that I give are helpful for you. And if you're watching, if you're a subscriber and you have any video suggestions, always feel free to leave them down below in the comment section, because I'm always ready to answer you guys' questions and make videos for you guys. I always need some ideas, and the best place to get it is from the people who are subscribed to my channel. I think that is so important. I'm just gonna be talking about how I wrote my return policy. I have it written down here in my notebook. This is the notebook that I used when I had my online store. So I don't have it written down in detail like I did on my website, but I have it written down in detail in just like points. So it still has everything in it. It just doesn't have like all the extra wording in it. So if you are interested in learning a little bit about return policies, exchanges, chargebacks, then please continue watching. So I really think that your return policy is something that is firm, and it should be something that is strict, you know, like it should be something that you know you're willing to stick with. Because let's say you decide to do a return policy where people could get refunds, and a situation happens where someone actually needs to get a refund, you can't go back on that. You have to stick to your word as a business owner, and you can't just change it, because then that's where you lose trust with the customer. And I know that as a business owner too, like hearing customers say that they want to return something or they want a refund, that is like a nightmare, because that just shows that they weren't satisfied with the product or products that they received from your business. And I also think that it's important to make sure that you really do put out a return policy on your website, because it just shows that you are professional, and it also gives the customer an idea of what to expect and like what they're committing to once they actually make that purchase from your online store. And I definitely think that your return policy and exchange policy should be very detailed and very specific, because you don't want to have a very vague return policy, because that just gives the customer leeway to actually do whatever they want. They could find ways around it so that they can get their money back, and as a small business that will really hurt your business at the end of the day. So for me personally, I didn't accept refunds at my store at all, and I did that because I was a new business and I felt that I had to really protect my brand. When you're always accepting like refunds and stuff, your business is gonna be losing money all the time, and that's not something that I wanted. I did accept exchanges, but the exchanges that I accepted, there were exceptions to that. So what my return policy was like and like what it said and stuff. So first I started off by thanking the customer and potential customers for their interest in shopping with my brand. I feel like it is important to acknowledge that they are even considering to shop with your brand. I advise them that they please be responsible for reading the return policy before purchasing, because then they are fully informed about what the return policy is if they aren't fully satisfied. And like I said before, they'll know what they're actually committing to. And I'm pretty sure we all know those customers. If you work in retail, or maybe you were one of those customers one time where you just go to a store to return something because you weren't fully satisfied with your purchase, but then it ends up that you can't return your item, or they don't do refunds or anything like that, and then you're just there upset. You tell them you didn't know the return policy, and then they're like, well, it's on the receipt. So you just want to make sure that the customer actually is fully informed about what they're getting themselves into. And I also left my business email, so that before the customer jumped into making a purchase, they could contact me or reach out to me with any questions that they may have had. Like if there were specific questions they had that weren't showing up on my website in detail about the items that they wanted, I think that it was important for me to do that so that they could just email me and let me know what the issue was before they actually made the purchase, so that they feel more comfortable. So now I'm gonna go into the exchanges and refunds. So like I said, I did accept exchanges, but I didn't do refunds, and that's exactly what I said. I said we do accept exchanges and store credit only, no refunds. So the exception of what I didn't accept exchanges from were items that were purchased with a discount code, promotional items, white clothing and bodysuits. All of those items were final sale, and that I always had that pretty clear and listed on my website. Or like, let's say I was doing a promotion on Instagram and the customer wanted to get the item with the 20% off discount code or something, I always listed that the item was final sale if they did use the promotional code or the discount code. And of course, like sale items and things like that, those are always going to be final sale. So for the exchanges, the items that they wanted to return, they had to be returned within 14 days of the receipt, like of the purchase date. So like, let's say they ordered something on the 10th and it arrived on the 15th. It doesn't count if they got it on the 15th. It matters that they purchased it on the 10th. Also, I let them know that the items must be unworn, still with tags, and in the same condition that it was received in, like in the same packaging or the box that it was sent in and stuff. Because when it comes to returning clothing items, especially for online clothing stores, I really feel like people like to cheat the system, and I don't want to allow customers to send products back and have it be sent back in a different condition that it was sent out in. Just in general, I feel like it's important for customers to not cheat and like wear the items and try to put the clothing tags back on it themselves, because then like it'll have, maybe the item will smell, maybe it'll have the smell of their perfume and stuff, and that's not something that a business owner, a small business owner especially, would want to deal with, because then you'll have to figure out how you're going to resell the item. So I also let them know that the exchanges will be processed as store credit as of the purchase price, so excluding the shipping cost. And I thought that I had to add that detail in there too, because some customers really feel like the business owner can or should give them the money that they paid for shipping, which is actually inaccurate, because when it comes to shipping, you as a business owner and the customer both pay for shipping. So in that case, we both lose out. So it's important to actually let the customer know that if they spent like $35 and they paid $5 shipping, they're only gonna get $30 back in store credit. So I also let them know that the return shipping was the customer's responsibility, like to make sure that they kept the tracking number and stuff and kept up with the tracking, just so that they would know when, like around what time they could receive their store credit and when to actually look out for it. So I also mentioned that for the exchanges, I wanted them to return it within 14 days. But Shopify, they actually have a offer where they do free returns and exchanges within 30 days of the order date. So I think that it's just up to you if you do use Shopify. If you want to do 30 days, if you want to do 14 days, 20 days, like whatever, you could do that. So for the store credit rules, I listed that it was non-transferable. It had to be processed within 24 to 48 hours of receiving the item, and it does not expire. So I did that, it doesn't expire, because Shopify, they offer that, but then I think that it's also important to do that so that the customer could feel like they have more options, just in case they aren't like fully interested in something that you may have on your website at the moment. Like maybe in a few weeks or the next season, you know that you will have different items to offer them. So I thought that that option was best. As I did use Shopify, I would always search around on their website and look things up to see what they would offer. And they do have a return policy. They do have a return policy template that they offer for customers to use. So if you guys want to see that, I'll link that in the description. And they also show you on the website like how you could put your return policy clear by the clothing item or whatever, so that the customer knows exactly what to look out for and where to go and click on your website to see what your return policy is about. So I'm going to talk a little bit about chargebacks now, because chargebacks, they do happen to businesses, and I don't think they would happen like in the beginning of your business when you just have a few people shopping with your store. But I think that as your business continues to grow, you may have this issue. Chargebacks happen to like all business owners, especially if you have your business for a long time. I don't think it's really something that you can avoid. But chargebacks are basically when people can call their bank and say that the charge that your business had charged them was a fraudulent charge. And like, let's say a customer actually made a purchase for $150 and they got buyer's remorse, and they didn't want that money to be out of their bank account anymore, even though they did have the items. And like, let's say they couldn't return the items, they will call their bank and they will say that it was a fraudulent charge and that they need their money back. And usually banks, they will investigate and make sure that the customer is telling the truth, but sometimes customers do get away with it, and that's where you would lose the $150 as a business. Also, your bank will charge you an additional $20, or I think the fee may vary, but it will be like a fee for having that chargeback charge on your account. So I think that it's important to make sure that you are really checking your accounts and making sure that customers aren't lying on you. But it also could be a situation where like a customer loses their card and then somebody finds it and then they make a purchase with it. So I think it's important as a business owner, like if something like that happens, make sure that you check the addresses. So I would make sure that I would check the addresses, like check the address of the person who made the order and where it was delivered to, because that could also show you a little bit of if it's fraudulent or not. Like let's say somebody lived in Arizona and they ordered it, but the person actually lived in like Brooklyn or something. So yeah, so like if the customer decides that they want to file a chargeback and it's not actually accurate, I think it would be important to make sure that you handle it the proper way and in a professional way as well. Stay professional at all times if things like that do happen with your business. So overall, I think that for return policy or exchanges, it's all up to you what you really want as a business and what you feel fits your business best. And even if you're not really fully sure about what you want your return policy to be, you could also go onto your favorite websites and look at their return policies and see what those businesses have, and you could try to incorporate some of those return policies and exchange policies into your business if you feel that it matches. And like I had said before, if you guys feel like you need extra help, you could always look at some templates online. Like I'll leave the Shopify template down below if you want to get a closer look at it and see exactly what points and what type of details you should be adding into your return policies. So I just want to give a shout out to Diane for requesting that I make this video. I hope that this video was helpful for you. Give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in my next video.